What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to GmiasWorld. Today we're going to be taking a look at the O-line abilities. Pretty much as we go through the video, I'm going to kind of show you guys the guidelines. I have concluded that it is a complete non-factor, the abilities on O-linemen. Other than identifier, the other abilities as far as helping the run and all those other things, they just don't work anymore since EA updated the fix to nasty streak. But as promised, I told you guys we would go over it again to kind of give you guys an idea about the run game and the way that people were using it prior to the patch. Now, I can't really fault EA for nerfing it because dudes were getting pancaked like they were at IHOP, but at the same time, I used it, people used it against me, and it just made me a better player because I had to figure out if this dude gets pancaked, how do I make a play? You know, like how the old school way Madden was, you know, somebody's running something that's OP, you figure it out and you try to lab it and then you get better, but only a certain level of skill players can play against it. Well, what EA has done is they've made the game more, probably the proper word is easier. It's easier. The game is easier for everyone to play, so they can't just have guys running around with nasty streaks and doing whatever, because if a young kid gets on and he plays and he's like, why is my guy getting thrown around like a rag doll? And even though it's a corner versus a lineman, EA had to make some adjustments. So what we're gonna do is, since they patched it, we're gonna be adding nasty streak. We're gonna try nasty streak first. We're gonna try one of the newer abilities that are available as well, that helps with like the pulling guard and stuff like that. The puller elite, and then we're going to jump into a game. Pretty much what I wanted to do in this video, as you can see that what I'm doing, I've tried every single one of these abilities. Before the title update, you could pretty much pick any of them that had to do with pass block, run block, whatever it was, and it would work. Like, they would hold their blocks longer, they would do different things. Now, throughout the video, as we go through it, you're going to see differences in the way that they play. You're gonna see when they're highlighted, and I'm gonna try to explain it to everyone, including the veterans of the channel that are still like kind of dabbling. You wanna see if it still works. We wanna believe that they're gonna play better, but at the end of the video, I think we're gonna all come to the conclusion that EA has made it so that it's a non-factor. So pretty much if they're gonna hold the block, they're gonna hold the block. There's no extra oomph. There's nothing going on. It's been completely neutralized. And like I said, if they didn't neutralize this and Lane Johnson and Joe Thomas were able to go crazy with nasty streaks, that probably would have destroyed the game. So I can't really fault them for it, but at the same time, they made it so that it doesn't really matter. So all I'm saying is that I don't want any of you guys that watch the video to think that anything other than identifier works on your alignment, because it really doesn't. It's all in your mind. It's like we could believe anything we want, but ultimately, it really just doesn't matter. These guys don't do anything extra. And just so you guys are aware, you can lab this in many different modes. What I'm gonna try to do, I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna give you guys everything, because as I was recording it, I promised you guys gameplay, so I'm gonna actually be going into a game and I'm gonna show you what happens and why I use certain missions in the game to kind of see the way it plays. It's very, very interesting the way that, Madden works overall, because arcade mode, if a player's gonna get pancaked, he get pancaked in that mode also. If it's competitive in a mission, he still gets pancaked, he would get pancaked in the real game. So the only thing that's different about arcade competitive and simulation is, the computer will pick the ball off if it's not arcade, but everything else is the same. If it works in a mission, it's gonna more than likely work in head-to-head gameplay against a human opponent. So if you don't see these players pancaking anybody, during a mission, they're not going to pancake anyone during a head-to-head game. I just want to point that out. And that's pretty much the way that I lab my blitzes and I lab everything. For those of you guys that are members of the channel that got that blitz content that I put out, that was members only, you guys saw how I do it, and it's very, very easy to see what works and what doesn't. Right now, what we're doing right now, we're just taking the abilities off of Barry Sanders because we're going to put it on Joe Thomas. Just in case you guys are wondering, make sure you take your abilities off, get your refunds as you try to see what works and what doesn't. That's also a huge plus for everybody that's just playing Madden, or if you're still currently playing Madden and you didn't know and you still have people that you had put abilities on, go get your refunds, get your 90% back, and go see what really works. Go, change it up. Obviously, like I said, O-line is like non-existent. So, doing this at this point, if you're putting abilities on your O-line, it's all in your mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like you want to throw your opponent off. But everybody that knows Madden knows that it's been nerfed and completely patched, so it doesn't really matter at all. Now, if a tight end gets nasty streak and that's his natural position, that might change the game because EA is going to have to figure out how to make that work. But as of right now, it doesn't make any sense to do it with your lineman. All right, so now you guys were able to see everything that I put on Joe Thomas. You were able to see that I'm putting on Lane Johnson. Then our next step is to make sure that it's activated. Always make sure your abilities and your X factors are activated. Obviously, old linemen cannot get X factors, but they can get abilities, and you still have to activate those abilities as well. Now we're gonna jump into a game. It is my playoffs, and I told you guys that I was gonna give you gameplay for it. I always keep my word with you guys. You guys know that. So we run into this guy right here, right? So obviously, for those of you guys that don't know, this guy has a history of doing whatever he wants. Sometimes he stays in games and he plays. In this game right here, he's gonna disconnect me, all right? Now, I'm very, very happy that I did not get a loss for this. I don't know why I didn't get a loss, but if I did get a loss, I would be going crazy right now. And, you know, you guys know what happens when I start raging. I hate these guys that do that because, you know, for me to go all the way to the playoffs and then I have a guy do that, try to DC me, and then I get a loss, it would have been very, very bad. I would have been raging uncontrollably, but I'm just showing you guys, I went back, I didn't get the loss. But that guy, if you look at that username, the Buddy Toke, that guy, be very, very careful with that guy. That's all I'm gonna say. You know, he's been known over the years to do some really, really wild stuff. But again, be very, very careful with that. Because that happened, I didn't really feel like going to deal with that again, so I went to the Rush Clinic to kind of show you guys what's going on. Now, like I said before, the whole purpose of the video is to kind of make you guys understand. This is arcade mode, right? So if anything were going to happen, you would see it more amplified in this mode. So what I do is, if I want to see if something is glitchy, I do it in arcade mode to kind of get a gist, then I go to competitive mode. But if it doesn't work in arcade mode, there is no reason to go to competitive mode, okay? Pretty much right now, you know, you're gonna come out, you're gonna run, you know, we're gonna run this I form right here, and you're gonna see, you see how he just goes and he blocks him, and that's it? That's all he does. It's nothing extra. If you guys were playing Madden a month ago, you would have seen other things that were going on. So we're gonna go back to the H-wing again, because this is a really, really good play with the stretch, and it kind of dictates what's going to happen. So you can see that I subbed in both of my old linemen to the right side, my right tackles, Joe Thomas, and then I'm leading with my other right tackle, who is Lane Johnson, because that's the best way to do it. If you stack them on the same side, even in like the single back sets, they're gonna play better together if it works. But right now, we're not really seeing anything. There's no pancake, it's a general block. It's all a general block. See, he pushes him, he never falls. Now, just remember this, right? That's Jalen Ramsey versus Lane Johnson. I don't care how, like, what you think. Lane Johnson is throwing that man around. Like, he could be as strong as he wants, like, you know, different corners, whatever like that. Lane Johnson is a bully. And, you know, he's pretty much, like, right there, he holds him up a little bit. That's a little bit better of an animation, but that's typical of a lineman versus a corner. So you don't need abilities for that. Like, if you just sub them out and do the regular thing, that's all that's gonna really happen. So because that happened in arcade mode, we now know, all right, Nasty Streak is totally done. It doesn't work. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna try Run Block Elite and see how that works, okay? Because that one right there with Run Block Elite, if you come out in like the I tight when your tackles are in their right positions, I'm gonna show you guys what pretty much happens with it. You'll see it like it's like a dark orange and the star stays on them if they're in their right position, but they still don't do anything regardless. Like, none of it really matters. So we're gonna go, I think we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna try out the zone blocker, and then we're gonna run it with Run Block Elite. All right, so with that whole situation, what we're gonna try to do is we're gonna see if anything works, because that's pretty much what, like, does anything work right now? Anything with the O-line. That's all we're trying to figure out. Like, EA, did you really, by nerfing Nasty Streak out of position, just make O-line abilities just not matter and still have it available to be sold? Like, this is pretty much what it is, what's going on right now. There is nothing extra that goes on. And again, I would urge you guys to go test it out. I know most of you guys are like, yo, I'm not doing it no more. Just let us know, Gmia. And that's what I'm doing right now, going through the step-by-step. If you lab this, right, and you see anything different, please let me know in the comments. Because like I said, I've tried this in head-to-head. I've tried it in, missions. I've tried it everywhere, you know, and I'm just like going back again because now we have two of them. So it's like, if we got two of these tackles that have the ability with their lead block and their, you know what I'm saying, like their impact block to get Nasty Streak, we should see a difference. So we're going right back to the same thing. We're subbing everybody out. We're going back to the H-wing. We're putting our tackles back in the same positions. and we just changed it up. We took Nasty Streak off. Just keep in mind, we just took Nasty Streak off. We're trying to run block elite, zone blocker on Lane Johnson, and we're gonna do the same exact thing. You see the stars underneath? They're just holding the blocks the same exact way. There's nothing impressive about it. And like I said, the excessive breaking tackles, that's all arcade mode. We're just looking at the focus of what the actual ability does. What does these abilities do? Nothing, okay? It does absolutely nothing. So because of that, you know, we're gonna finish up the mission and just, like, you know, pretty much get it through. You'll see that my fullback, the fullbacks still are able to take people's legs out, but that's pretty much it. That's been going on before the title update anyway. But yeah, your fullback will usually just take somebody's legs out, but the O-linemen don't do anything. They literally do not do anything. You see what I'm saying? You see how my fullback is going and just taking his legs out? The linemen, they make it so that the linemen just can't, the linemen can't do that. Like, they don't go underneath and try to, you know, chip a corner or anything like that. They just run and try to block them, and then the corner stands up, and then the corner gets off the block and comes and tries to make the tackle. It really doesn't make any sense. Now, on this first play, just watch what happens right here, because they're in their natural position in the eye tight. So I wanted to see what happens. You'll see that it highlights and goes to the dark orange when I hike the ball. So that dark orange just means that the ability is actually active, and then they're in their proper position. All right, just so you got, because some of you guys are wondering why does, you know, sometimes the star is like in a dark orange or whatever, and then sometimes it's not. That just means that they're in their proper position, and the ability should be working. One of the things that you may notice though is that it's not like glowing. You see what I'm saying? Like it's not lighting up. So it's not really doing anything. Like pretty much earlier in the year when these abilities were working, they would light up. There is no more lighting up. Now, I don't know if it's not lighting up based on the title update, or, you know, if it's something else that's going on with the mechanic of it, but I haven't seen any of, you can see like with Eric Dickerson, you see like how when he's stiff arming, everything starts lighting up and stuff like that. I haven't seen anything light up in regards to the O-lineman. I've seen nothing at all since the title update. So because I haven't seen anything, I can't tell you guys that it works, because I don't do that. Like, that doesn't make any sense. So what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna deactivate both of the abilities on my lineman. We're gonna just take it off and then go back into the same game and you know, pretty much go out and see what's going on. All right, that's the goal right now. So no lineman abilities, going back to the same H-wing, subbing everybody out and doing the same exact thing, and we're going to see if anything is different. Now, again, with the way that everything is, at the beginning of the year, the weight was a factor. Like, weight mattered, certain things with the strength, all of that has been changed. Because again, Lane Johnson is he's a bully, but he can't put him on the ground. Like, he can't put, you know, Jalen Ramsey on the ground. Like, okay, I get it, bro. Like, it was OP, Nasty Streak, whatever like that. But even with all of everything that goes into it, it still doesn't make sense, because it's not only Jalen Ramsey, it's any corner. They can't throw them on the ground. Pretty much what happens in head-to-head gameplay, they throw my linemen to the ground. Like, you can see that my fullbacks are getting much better impact block animations than my tackles, which is weird, and it doesn't make any sense, but that's what's happening. That's actively what's going on. So you can see that now he pushes them completely out the way, and to be honest, he actually blocked better not having an ability on him. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of opens up more discussion, because now that we know that it doesn't make sense to do it, many of you are going to be asking, okay, so what do we do now? Where are we going with it? What do we do with as far as our three abilities go? Because the wide receivers have been nerfed. You know what I'm saying? Streak specialist is like now garbage. A lot of the things that are going on with it, the only thing that really works, you know, slot apprentice, having an out route specialist, stuff like that. Those things work on the out routes, maybe the post route for the wide receiver, but is it really worth it for a game where the meta is the run? So that's why I stay away from the wide receivers, and for the most part, I usually just go hot route master and just let my players do whatever they're gonna do, and if they get open, they get open. But as far as everything goes with these abilities for the O-lineman, I would urge you to just take it off. I don't see any way that they're gonna put it back to where it actually matters, because if they did do that, they probably would go back to more pancakes, and that's obviously what they don't want to happen. So I don't see that happening. What I do see is the possibility of them adding a new ability that makes it, you know, makes the weight and the strength actually matter again. And then it doesn't matter if they're out of position or whatever like that, because realistically, you should have a counter on the opposite side of the ball instead of patching the game to make it so that you can't use abilities that are on the lineman. You see what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is, but again, the game has to be, you know, playable for everyone. And that's just something that's, you know, I understand that part. Because again, when I first experienced Nasty Streak, I was like, yo, why are my guys just laying down and everybody's getting pancaked all the way up the field? But it fascinated me and I wanted to learn more about it. Nowadays, it doesn't matter. Like, if something is crazy, they got to stop it. Like, don't teach anybody how to work around it, like how to, you know, counter it. Like, we got to stop it. Like, we got to make this very, very easy. That's the new meta. And that's what's been going on, you know, this year. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead, like I'm showing you now, put my ability back on my running back. As far as the third ability that I'm going to have on my team, that is to be determined, coming very soon. I'm going to figure it out, but I just wanted to get this information out to you guys to let you know you need to get rid of all your O-line abilities because it's completely patched. Not just the Nasty Streak. Every single thing except for Identifier doesn't work as far as O-line goes. Enjoy your day. Stay blessed. Until next time, one love.